At this time, I invite Karen Hyland forward to share with us her own struggle with racism as it has touched her life and family, and as she seeks to turn water into wine.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Since the beginning, I've been discussing race with my daughters. The Color of Us is one of their favorite books, a heartwarming story about skin in delicious colors, like milk chocolate and cinnamon, hazelnut and vanilla, frosting. Both of my daughters know all about being proud of their skin color, proud of what their bodies can do for them, proud of their hair, proud of their adoption stories, and proud of who they are as people. All was going quite well until this year, when the conversation shifted rather unexpectedly from the pride of race to the pain of racism. In an attempt to wrap my own thoughts around this issue, I wrote out the story and my subsequent thoughts about it. In a rather bold move for myself, I decided to mail it out with our Christmas letter. I'm privileged to stand here today because my beloved neighbor, Ginny Vanderway, shared it with several people in this community. So as new as this conversation is to me, and as unexpected as it is for me to stand here today, I hope that it provides some new thoughts for you as well. Here's my letter. I'm not the kind of person who posts political things on Facebook. In fact, for the last 10 years, I'm pretty sure almost every post had something to do with my kids. Cute baby pictures, their latest trick they learned, set there intentionally for their birth families, to see, and also for friends and family I don't see very often. So when I decided one day this fall to post this protest sign, "White people, what will we do to change our legacy of violence?" I surprised even myself. The usual response I get to any cute picture of my kids on Facebook is about 35 to 50 likes, and anywhere from 3 to 10 adorable comments. This post only got 2 comments of confusion. That's all. This got me thinking about why I had posted it when I don't post political things, about why only 2 people commented on it and nobody liked it. I wondered if I had posted it on a day when no one was on Facebook. Or maybe most people try to steer clear of this conversation. Clearly I had many times. All sorts of questions raced through my mind. And then I realized that my post was prompted by a conversation that happened with my daughters over dinner, sparked by a comment Zoe had made during the discussion of the plot of Hairspray, a play we were seeing that night at their theater. It takes place in the 60s, and the lead character, who's a white teenager, is trying to integrate a TV show because the Negroes only perform on Negro Night once a month. Zoe made a comment, something to the effect of, "Yeah, and white people used to kill black people." The look on Jaden's face, my 6-year-old, of confusion and pain and fear was heart-wrenching. To sit across the table from my African American daughter and explain to her little 6-year-old self how white people treated black people, and knowingly still at times do, was an excruciatingly painful and difficult discussion for her and for me. To the point that she put down her fork and said she couldn't eat anymore. It was a long time stopping 30-minute conversation, her pain and sadness and fear mixed with my attempts at explaining, helping her feel safe now, asking her if anyone ever treats her differently because of her skin color, and in a real moment of flailing efforts to protect her, trying to put it in the past. All that happened a long time ago, a lot has changed, knowing full well this wasn't the whole truth. I don't think my 6-year-old is anywhere close to ready or able to hear that race relations in this country are taking center stage yet again, that there is still a problem with racism in this country today. This, to be a white mom, simplistically explaining to my African American daughter the horrors that white people have inflicted on black people, brought it right home. It was this conversation that prompted my post. It became even more crystal clear to me in that moment how it is not black people's burden to try to solve what has happened in this country, How can we look in the eyes of our black children and say, it's up to you, when they have done nothing to be treated differently, nothing but happen to be born with brown skin? It's like asking the Jewish people to be responsible for solving the anti-Semitic horrors of the Holocaust. It's so outlandish, I'm astounded. The point is that we have a legacy in this country of the mistreatment and discrimination of black people. Elizabeth Warren's stellar Black Lives Matter speech to the Edward M. Kennedy Institute in September 2015 articulates exactly why Black Lives Matter. If you haven't heard it, it's worth listening to every minute as a reminder of the systematic way in which this country has, over the years, mistreated black people and the long-term effects it's had on them. When one group has oppressed another group over generations, it is not for the oppressed group to solve this legacy of violence. It is for the oppressors to take note of how this legacy continues and to do more things to change it. People all over this country are having to tell their black children this legacy and find ways to articulate the current race issues. Parents of black sons have to coach their sons on how to stay safe, a conversation that is not happening with white sons. What happens when Jaden sees a Black Lives Matter sign and asks, "Mommy, why does it say that?" How will she feel when I attempt an explanation? That black people are still being mistreated and there is still a fight for more equality. How do black children feel knowing that black people are jailed more, arrested more, and killed more, and that these signs exist because black people feel fear and anger and oppression today? I can't speak for all children, but my child, my black child, one being raised by white parents, felt deep confusion and sadness, and also, sadly, fear. So yes, there was confusion by this post. I confused even myself, but now I'm getting clearer about it. We have a legacy in this country of the mistreatment of black people, and I posted it because I agree it is for white people to stand up and take notice that campaigns like Black Lives Matter exist because the oppressed are still oppressed. The civil rights movement didn't evolve out of nothing. The gay marriage movement didn't evolve out of nothing. And the Black Lives Matter movement didn't evolve out of a culture of nothing. These things don't develop because there is equality and justice. Equality and justice do not anger people. They develop because there's inequality, discrimination, and mistreatment of a group of people. Therefore, it is my deep belief that we as a collective white whole need to hear that, feel that, and know that much more than we already do. Maybe it starts by acknowledging our desire for it not to be true, or our desire to avoid it, or our desire to pretend it's all okay now. I'm not sure what it takes. For me, it took a conversation with my 6-year-old black daughter to really get it in my whole heart. I suppose I have an advantage. She's my daughter, and I would do anything not to have this conversation with her. What I know completely is it is not the black community's responsibility, it is ours. So today, I leave you with this thought. One I got from an article called How to Be an Interrupter by Erin Belfer, who is also an adoptive mom in San Diego, who wrote this article for City Beat. People who supported the Underground Railroad would leave a little light on as an indication that they were a safe house. I encourage each of us to consider each day, how do we leave a light on? And how do you leave your heart open so that the black community knows we stand with them, not against them nor in silence, so that someday when parents are having these conversations with their children, the conversation can begin to look different. Thank you.